Hello and welcome to Flicks and Chill with me, Luke, and
Jane.
that's right. And this is our show where we talk about whatever the fuck we want, but mostly it's we either rant or rave. We'll give you one pop culture news, and then we have one big topic we discuss. And today, what did we settle on today, Shane? Would you like to divulge?
So we're gonna let the audience in on a little bit of understanding how we watch movies. So
Yes.
how do we prefer to watch movies? What means do we wind up watching movies? It's an interesting environment for
Mm-hmm.
movie watching in 2026 with so many options.
Yes. So you guys will get to know us a bit more as far as like our movie watching habits. And this might either be one of the shortest episodes ever or one of the longest. You don't know. You don't know. And as always, we'll give you one quick recommend to end this show. But Shane, how are you feeling today? Are we ranting or are we raving?
So I'm gonna rant a little bit,
Nice.
and it's
Let's go.
because I'm in the process of closing on a home.
Nice.
And as someone in the United States, I just want to complain about the ridiculousness of this whole entire system.
Actually, yeah, tell me
And,
about the system because I'm obviously not aware. Like we have our own system here, so tell me, Shane.
well, we are using a realtor and he's great, but
Hmm.
I'm just going to complain about like the general system because it's like generally you have a realtor, you're going to wind up paying this realtor a certain amount of percentage of money. It seems like most of the time it lands on the sellers. A proportion of what they get from the sale goes to the realtor, so
Hmm.
that's getting shaved off. And then of course you have all these closing costs. Like
Hmm.
it's going to cost us like $15,000 to just close the house, close on the deal.
What does that mean, close on the house? Like, see, I'm not an American. Please explain.
So us even buying the house is going to cost $15,000 just to fees.
Oh, okay, so just a fee. Okay, okay. Hmm.
So who's getting that $15,000? You don't know, but it's going somewhere. And then you have to get inspections, and they cost money.
Yep.
And, you know, presently, as we're recording this, my dad and my brother are replacing the flooring in our townhome so that we could spruce it up to sell.
Hmm.
And, all of these different things. And after a while, it just adds up to so much goddamn money.
Yep.
And then the insane process, the amount of information you need to provide for like a mortgage application.
Hmm.
I'm not saying it should be like it used to pre housing crisis of 2008 where anybody could get a mortgage,
Hmm.
but like we're both gainfully employed adults. I don't feel like it should be that hard to get a mortgage.
Hmm.
And, it's just such a complicated process. It's just very indicative of nothing should be this complicated in life.
Hmm.
And it is though. And because honestly, probably capitalism. That's probably the reason, because everybody needs to get paid something for any little thing in the process. And especially in America, we love fees for everything.
Yep. So, yeah, like, I cannot really discuss the American side of that because obviously I'm not
Yeah.
American. You might have noticed by my accent. But as a person who's gone through this circus, yeah, 4 years ago, soon it's gonna be 4 years since I moved to my own flat, or you
Hmm.
guys would say apartment. Like, yeah, no, it's a bit of a faff. However, I will say in the UK, it's great because there is such a thing as being a first-time buyer. You actually get a lot of benefits, such as you don't have to pay any. There is a stamp fee, stamp duty, whatever the fuck they want to call it, and it's basically like, so if I wanted to now move and buy a second one, like let's say I'll sell this one and buy a second one with my wife, let's say, right? I need to pay, is it like 3% of the total value of the new property straight away? So like, if we're buying a house, let's say normal house here, it's unfortunately about 400,000, let's say 300, 400,000.
Yeah.
So 3% out of that. It's fucking
That's a lot of
insane.
money.
Yeah, or
Yeah.
is it
A
like,
lot of
or
money.
Yeah, it is. And it's so like luckily the first time buyers, they have it decently good. Like again, like a lot of fees you don't have to pay. The government actually helps you out a bit. There's like different programs you can open like these like accounts, and as long as you contribute some money, the government give you a tiny bit to your first house. So like that's good. But like yeah, anytime if I want that's me being conscious of, hey, if I ever want to move within the UK,
Mhm.
because like moving outside is totally different ball game, and it might be on a card at some point. My future is very well open, Sheen. I'll tell you that.
There you go.
It's fascinating, but it's like I don't think it's as pricky. But like the system's changed even here because it used to be, hey, you young, get a loan, buy some property, and become a landlord, and you will. That's your job, right? And you can actually get seriously wealthy. In 2026, even in the UK, it's great because I'm like when if you're renting, you have a lot of protection in place, and the landlords are taxed more. But that means
Mhm.
if you want to do that, you'll be taxed to fuck, and it's no longer as money making scheme as it used to be. Which again, it's a double-edged sword. It's good, but it's also bad if you want to do it.
Yeah.
So it's one of those
Well,
like,
and
hey, the previous generation, one did that, they became rich, but I cannot do it because like, and when I have my own means to potentially do it, even though I don't. But if let's say
yeah,
I would, I cannot really do it because like it's not as profitable anymore. So it's like fuck. Anyway,
isn't that something where
capitalism.
older generations are like, well, just do this. It's like, well, it's not like that anymore because of you.
Yes.
And it's I feel very lucky because the only reason we're getting a home is because of my mother-in-law.
Hmm.
And how we're making this work. But like I'm not a first-time buyer anymore.
Hmm.
So I wouldn't get any of those benefits anyway because I own my home right now.
Do you guys
And
also have that like incentives for first time when you were? Did you get some like
well,
breaks?
it depends on
Of
who's
course.
in office
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff
yeah.
like that, and who cares more about making because affordability is a made up word.
But he's
It's a
making
fake
America
word.
great again. So Shane,
So
you're living in a great America
well,
again.
and the interest rate right now is twice of what our interest rate is on our present home. So
Oof.
like we're gonna be going from like a $1,600 mortgage payment, which is amazing, to a $2,700 one as of right now. And I'm just like,
Jesus.
which is still cheaper than almost any place for rent with two bedrooms or more, which is wild. Like to get a two-bedroom apartment in New Jersey at this point, a lot of them are over $3,000 a month.
I have a four-bedroom flat. It's 130 square meters, and I'm paying not even 1,000. I'm paying way less than 1,000 pounds a month, my mortgage.
Yeah. Well, good for you.
But well, to be
So,
fair, that's because I chose to live in a quote unquote shadier area of the city I live in.
yes,
So,
yes.
like, when I tell people where I live, it's like, oh, that's this
They're like,
part. I'm
oh,
I'm like, yeah, but I always say, it's not as bad. It's not as bad, okay? It's fine. It's fine. Like, there's only a few junkies
well,
here and there. All good.
and that's the thing too. And
Hmm.
it's just my rant is this whole system is broken
Yep.
and will continue to stay broken because people care more about what states in the United States are better for businesses than for actual human beings to live. But that's a whole other rant. But for now, there's so many. I'm just ranting about the amount of hula hoops I have to jump through for
Yep.
all of this nonsense for uh buying this home. But hopefully we're closing in basically a month from us recording this episode. So we'll see how that goes, and there'll be a lot of moving and all kinds of nonsense. But it'll be
I,
worth it in the end.
I wish you nothing but the best, Shane. Like, you deserve it.
Thank
Like,
you.
I hope everything works out well. You know, May the odds be ever in your favor, as the lady from Hunger Games would say. Like,
Life
just
feels like Hunger Games sometimes, but
no, yeah.
what about you, Luke? What do you want to rave or rant about?
So this will be a bit weird, Rafe, but stick with me. I
Okay.
will preface it and say I love the fact that the internet is not real. And let me tell you what I mean. So we
Mhm.
are recording this to pull the curtain back. We are recording this of the weekend when the Odysseys dropped. So this episode will
Yes.
not be out for next month. But, this is 18th of July.
Yep.
And, some people on the Zoom call have already had a chance to see it. Lucky
Yes.
bastards. Some people, other people on this call, only seeing it yes tomorrow. So not so lucky bastards. But my rave is, I was a bit worried because, like, you see a lot of stuff how people are boycotting it, how it's shit, how it's gonna be bad, how it's the most disliked video on YouTube, and like you get worried. And then you remember, oh yeah, the internet is not real because it's full of fucking assholes and trolls and bots and Russians, therefore bots. So, the moment when Odyssey is not only critically successful, audience successful, and is making money on in a first day, I'm like, thank fuck for that. There's still these moments fill me with tiny bit of what was it in Star Wars they always say? Hope? Yeah, hope
Nope.
that's the word. Yeah. We still have hope that, not everything you see online, people, is as bad as it is. This is why nowadays many people just literally actually say, touch grass, go outside, touch grass, because it's
Mhm.
not as bad. And, suddenly even the entire Greece is apparently on board. Like suddenly, like like that is also like breaking like some record in Greece where that the movie is making bank, despite all the apparently a few months ago some people were trying to convince me that all the Greece is basically burning down again because of all this no Greek actors in it. Hey,
Because any other mythological film ever didn't just star a bunch of British people.
yep, the
Because that's
conquerors.
exactly how it used to go.
Yeah, the because they
My
own.
thoughts
Yeah.
on this situation is alt-right people are just fishing for BS to make political, to get angry about, because I feel like they're not happy people.
Hmm.
And if they're not angry about something, they have nothing else to do with their lives. So they decided, well, there's a black woman in the Odyssey where we haven't seen a black woman before. We're going to make this personal, like a personal affliction to us, and make a giant bunch of BS about it because it's so funny when people of that political persuasion complain about liberals making everything they need to push everything in our faces, but it's actually MAGA folks that need to make everything political, to make everything a personal slight against MAGA people. Christopher Nolan doesn't give a shit about your politics. He casted a movie with talented actors, many of which he knows already, and put them in who he trusts, and made a banger movie.
Hmm. Hmm.
Shut up.
Yep.
Go see the movie or don't go see the movie. But if you haven't seen the movie, you don't have any right to complain about how it's executed because you don't know. And
Hmm.
if I have to see another person in the comments being like, I don't know need to see a disaster to know it's gonna be a disaster, shut up. You don't know how a film or casting or anything's gonna work. There's nothing specific like, and the worst part is the characters they're complaining about. One character's not even in the movie. Spoiler alert: Achilles is not in this movie.
Yeah, because there was a rumor that Elliot Page was Achilles, and I'm like, has that ever been confirmed? Because Lupita
Well, no,
Nyong'o is Helen of Troy, so
yeah, they
that's
were. Well, and to be fair, Lupita Nyong'o plays twin sisters and has a combined screen time of 5 minutes.
shit.
So, like, why are we complaining about casting for a role that makes up 5 minutes of a 2 hour and 52 minute movie? Because they have nothing better to do.
That's much less of Lupita Nyong'o than I was hoping for, to be honest.
I
But
know,
hey,
but like to be fair, Helen's not really that big
hmm,
of a part of the Odyssey. If this was the Iliad, aka like what Troy is based off of,
yep, yep.
it's just dumb. People need to shut the hell up
Hmm.
and live life and stop trying to make everything a personal slight against your like they just want to be victimized and it's tiring.
I always
It's
think of this
tiring.
quote. Yes, I always think of this quote like the powers to be. are making us fight culture wars, so the elites are, so the elites are not, basically elites have us fighting culture wars, so we're not focused on the financial wars and, getting rid of billionaires. And I
Yeah,
think,
exactly. It's all smoke and mirrors because
mm,
they'd rather have people fighting over the Odyssey of all things than Epstein files or, the economic divide in this country and that quote unquote fake word affordability. But yeah, so there's more important things to be arguing about in the world and debating than the casting decisions of Christopher Nolan. Because at the end of the day, Christopher Nolan doesn't give a shit. He cast people who he thinks are going to be best for his movie. And
mhm,
guess what? They all did a really good job or great job in this movie. So
I cannot
it
wait to
is what
see
it
it. No, yeah, I cannot.
is.
I cannot wait to see it. And also, like we talked about it before this call, I had a wee bit of a like it's is Christopher Nolan the first or one of the few filmmakers to break this kind of curse where he won all the Oscars or most of the Oscars for Oppenheimer, and his follow-up movie is not complete failure, but like is not a step down. Even like like Bong Joon-ho, like all the praise for Parasite and Mickey 17. I liked Mickey 17. It's
Yeah.
not as great as Parasite.
Mm-mm.
And like there are many cases like that in Hollywood's history where like, oh yeah, this director finally wins all the awards, and his follow-up is like, oh, this is kind of disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, I never was in doubt for like the casting or whatever, but I was like, is this gonna be the movie? It's like, oh yeah, of course, this is where Nolan stumbles because this is his long passion for like 30 years, wanted to make it, and he will stumble. Is it that's gonna be the movie? And
Nope.
seeing the reactions, I'm like, oh, looks like it's has not. Let's fucking go. Seeing it
No, he
tomorrow.
won all those Oscars and made a R-rated 3-hour biopic about the man who invented the atomic bomb. Almost made $1 billion, and Universal's like, "Here's your blank check to go make whatever the hell you want." And he's like, "I'm gonna adapt the Odyssey," and yeah, and we're all better for it.
Cannot fucking wait. No, honestly. So, but yeah, so my weird rave is remember, people, not everything you see online is real. And many people, there are just a bunch of echo chambers who like to be negative about stuff or overhype stuff. So
Yeah,
sometimes we all just need to touch grass and move along.
there we go.
But what about some
Uh,
pop culture, Shane? Let's move to something slightly better, hopefully. What is your
I'm
pop
gonna
culture news?
I'm gonna pour one out for like the fifth release date of the Batman Part 2. As this got pushed to February 2028 now. And this is still one of my most anticipated movies
Hmm.
coming out.
Hmm.
Whenever the hell
If it
it
ever
comes
comes out.
out.
If.
I think it will.
I
It's gonna
mean,
take a long time, and obviously it's taking a long time. I'm a huge Matt Reeves fan, and
hmm.
The Batman is my number one Batman movie.
Hmm.
And which I know a lot of people have very strong feelings about The Dark Knight, and this is not a slight against The Dark Knight. I think it just proves how great Matt Reeves did the Batman for me, and it's one of my top comic book movies of all time too. And
Hmm.
I'm so excited to see the direction he goes with this. I know there's been a lot going on, but I'm just sad that I'm gonna have to wait another. What did they tack on? This is October.
2028?
It was October 2027
Yep.
was its release date. So like 4 months.
Yep.
So it got pushed back a little bit. Wondering if this might be more of a release schedule type of decision by Warner Brothers or not, but I don't know. Here's the thing. They didn't say why they moved it. It just got moved.
Yes.
So, and at the end of the day, I'm still gonna see it. I do I honestly have more worries about the DCU and what's going on with that.
I wonder why.
And because like Supergirl bombed
Yep.
hard
Hard.
and like hard and comparatively Superman was a good success.
Hmm.
It wasn't like blow your socks off kind of box office, but here's the thing. When was the last time we had a comic book movie blow your socks off box office wise?
Endgame.
It's well, you know, like Multiverse of Madness still had like $170 million opening weekend, and No Way Home
No Way Home, yeah.
made a shit ton of money.
No, No Way Home
And
made billion,
honestly,
yeah. Yeah.
No Way Home might be the last one where
Yeah.
it completely blew your socks off
Yep.
in terms of box office. So I don't I what I think they should do is maybe cut the budgets on some of these movies and make them a little smaller so it'd be easier to be a success. But I don't think that would have saved Supergirl because
Or
Supergirl just like,
or hire a screenwriter that understands the source material and a director who understands the tone of it. That
or
also would be not a
and on
thing.
top of a screenwriter who's actually written a feature before.
Like,
Um,
yeah, like,
there's a lot of problems with the
yes,
Supergirl movie.
yes,
And it's very interesting that the next movie coming out is Clayface, which
yes.
I'm really hoping that that had a modest budget.
You would hope, yes,
You would hope,
because
because I don't think it's going to make a crap ton of money.
to
And
be fair, I can see that, like, because it is kind of that Halloween release around.
well, here's the thing: if if horror movie fans buy in and go to it, it's going to make money. But
Yes,
the thing is, if it has like an $80 million budget, I'm going to be a little bit concerned.
yep.
I will be my jaw will drop if I find out that that was made for more than $100 million because that's just negligent at that
Hmm.
point. But
Hmm.
like if this was like a even like a $40 million comic book horror adaptation, and if horror fans dial in, it's gonna make money because horror film generally horror movie fans show up.
Yes. So to your point, first of all, so first of all, start with Batman.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
I really, really, really enjoyed the previous Batman. I'm not as high on it as you are, but I really
Yep.
liked it. I need to rewatch it because I remember watching it in a cinema and I'm thinking, this movie is so beautiful. This movie is so good. This movie is almost 3 hours fucking long and shouldn't like there
It
are
is a
some
whole it
there
is
is
a whole 3 hours long.
and I that's my I remember that was my only downside of this pretty otherwise a really great movie. There are some scenes and some sequences where it's like, hey, Matt Reeves, you're being a bit indulgent, and there's not much happening on the screen. Like, it looks cool as fuck. It looks sleek. It looks really nice. I'll give you all that. But the pacing, dude, the pacing needs to improve. But again, I need to rewatch
Here's
it.
the thing. It's really hard to justify a 3 hour runtime for any movie.
Yes.
And obviously, the whole 3 hours of that didn't work for a lot of people.
Hmm.
But I
But
saw
I'm.
that twice in theaters
Mhm.
and never felt bored once or disengaged. But this is a lot. Well, because here's the thing sequels
Mhm.
used to come out a lot later than they used to in many circumstances. What this has going against it is it's been moved and very publicly
Yep. Yep.
moved
Yep.
many times. So I don't know. We'll have to see.
And I'm also excited because, like, hopefully this will not change. But as far as we know, Scarlett Johansson signed up to be in this movie.
Well, and the rumors that I've heard recently is she might be Poison Ivy.
Ooh, I'm there opening minute. Oh my God, that would
And
be. Mhm.
how she fits in, it sounds like she might be poisoning like rich, powerful men in Gotham. And I think that's how they're gonna incorporate like the Court of Owls and stuff in because that's what I heard that was the biggest influence on this, which I did very recently, as in this week, finish reading the graphic novel.
So
That's
who's the
supposed to be the influence.
so who's the villain then? If she's poisoning all these rich folks, who's like she's the hero? Okay, who's the villain in this movie? I know, right?
Well, and that's complicated.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing. Well, I hope you know what. I hope it doesn't feel too much like the last one then, because
Hmm.
basically that's what the Riddler was doing.
Yep.
He was killing corrupt rich people
Yep.
and powerful people, and so except she's not an incel. So there you
And yeah,
go.
when it comes to Supergirl and like DCU, I think like one lesson from this year, just this year alone, if you make a great movie, the word of mouth actually still works. And
Yes.
when it comes to Supergirl, I genuinely think it was the opposite because like people like
Yeah.
I seen it in the cinema. I thought it was a fine movie. I'm not gonna say it was a dog shit piece of trash. No, it was a
No.
fine movie. Millie Alcock did a good job. I think she actually fits the role. I genuinely like. I think we had this conversation before. I genuinely think the direction was just all over the place, and I couldn't really tune into that tone because at some parts felt like, hey, this is James Gunn. This count James Gunn is
Yeah.
trying to mimic something rather than being its own thing. And like I think it came like 10 years too late. We're like, hey, look at her. Like she is drunk. She is like she is all over the place. Look at how cool she is, and she's a girl. And she seems like, oh hey, we kind of missed that pro-feminist you're like 20 years too late
Honestly,
movie.
like
Like,
if it would have felt more like I, Tonya, I would have probably been happier with
mm-hmm,
it.
mm-hmm,
And that's Craig Gillespie's like
yes,
actual voice.
and that's a great movie.
Um,
That's a great movie.
yeah.
Yes.
And it was just a really messy movie.
Mm.
I landed on
Yeah,
like
same.
I don't think it was terrible. I do think it's very problematic though that this movie, the villains were sex trafficking young girls, and the movie did nothing to actually like navigate that. Did very little,
But he killed
and like,
him. She killed him.
well, but the movie doesn't really comment on the whole sex trafficking thing. It just he killed him because of a dog.
Yeah, and also like I think you can tell like she was not really happy with the situation. I think yeah, like no, there's
Well,
nothing
and
like
that well,
direct. There's not.
it's just
Yeah.
and that was a choice to include that because I actually did just also not only did I read the Court of Owls graphic novel, but I read Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow.
Hmm.
And after reading that, I'm like, what the hell were they doing? That is there it felt awful a lot.
Yep.
But anyway, what are your pop culture news?
So when you say you will pour one out, I'm like, oh, are we gonna talk about the same thing? And then he said for
No,
Batman
because
2,
actual people passed away, and
yes,
a couple of real ones did.
couple of real ones. So I'm, obviously just 2 days ago we had the Pigeon Lady, aka Oscar winner, what's her name? Brenda
Brenda Flicker.
Flicker. But and obviously, like she's been with me from pretty much my entire childhood, every
Yeah.
Christmas because I do rewatch Home Alone and Home Alone 2 back to back.
Yep.
But the real one, not any shade to this lovely lady that will always be part of my childhood, Sam Neill, aka Dr. Alan Grant, and I'm
That's
like,
really well, and here's the thing. He was such a sweet person too. And I don't know if you well, you don't I don't know how much you use your Instagram that you have or don't have, or I don't know. But like I followed Sam Neill and he'd
hmm.
post the most genuine things on his Instagram. He just seemed like such a sweet guy too.
Like that's the thing. Like if you see people like who pay tributes to him, like nobody says a really mean thing. Like I also like that kind of like when he passed away, like that made me think, have I ever heard anything bad about this dude? Because like as we both of us are into
Yeah.
movies, we follow news, we follow about movies, we follow everything, right? Or try to. And many times you hear stories about your favorites. So it's like, oh, this person is great, but it might not might be the best person in real life. Okay, well, they make good movies. Okay, I'll. But about Sam Neill, for as long as I've heard of him, I've never heard a bad thing. And
Mm.
I'm like, yeah, he just seems so just like, hey, I'm an actor. I'm just gonna do these things. Oh, by the way, I'm in Jurassic Park, one of the most beloved movie of all time. Like, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna do that. But for people who only know him from Jurassic Park, I would really like to recommend two wildly different movies if you want
Yeah.
to expand your Sam Neill knowledge and how great of an actor he was. So the more recent one is Hunt for the Wilder People from before Taika Waititi became
Like
MCU,
Thor. Yeah.
and like this was I think that was just before Thor Ragnarok. It was like 2015. It's a
Yeah.
sweet kind of like dramedy kind of like with him and this wee guy, and it's Sam Neill is this like almost grumpy old man
He's
because he
crotchety Uncle Heck.
yes, yeah. And it's such a sweet and touching movie. It has like proper, like like when you say this movie has a soul. This is one of those movies that's like this movie genuinely has a soul, and I that's what I miss about Taika Waititi today. Like he has gone a bit too much into the machine, and his movies from earlier movies, like they actually had this like soul that was really, really nice. So like I thought he was great in that movie, Sam Neill. But my
Yes.
real interesting one is a movie we watched together, Shane. Possession.
Yes. Wild, unhinged. Because here's the thing. Sam Neill has played some really horrible
Like in the
bits of
movie Possession, yes. Like
Possession and the piano. I feel
mhm.
like there's some like darker and also in Peaky Blinders,
I still haven't seen the
where
show. I still haven't.
he's a corrupt cop.
Okay.
That's like one of the main antagonists in the first two seasons.
Hmm.
So like he had that in him as an
Yep.
actor.
Yep.
And Possession's wild.
Because Possession, yeah, if you like me only know him for several like really good natured and like, hey, he's this old crackety guy, but he's underneath all of that, he's this lovely guy, he cares and all that. Watch Possession when a young Sam Neill is one of the worst husbands ever put to screen.
Yep.
And what's her name? Isabella Adjani? Oof.
Yes.
Oof. Like,
That's one of the craziest. Speaking of like top tier women giving horror movie
yes.
performances, to the point where Nell Tiger Free homaged that in the first Omen
Hmm.
in her performance, that freak out, like
Yep.
body gyrating, which Sam Neill, Hunt for the Wilder People, as of right now, is my 113th ranked movie of all time on
Nice.
my top list. I love that movie
Yep.
pieces. And the whole like, he molested me. I'm not a molester. And just he's in the motion because like there's a death at the beginning of that movie that sets the
Yep.
whole film in emotion. The emotion that he showed there, but Sam Neill's also hilarious.
Hmm.
And he's in stuff from I just rewatched To Hunt for Red October,
Of course.
and he is such a great role in that, and he also has a very powerful moment in that movie, and it's a sad loss.
Hmm.
He was extremely talented. He seemed like such a sweet soul,
Hmm.
and loved nature, loved his farm
Hmm. Hmm.
that he had and everything. So pour one out for Sam Neill for sure.
Yes. Like he's to me like, is this the dream to be like famous enough where people actually recognize you, but not famous enough where they don't bother you every single step of the way? Like because like if you think about it, he had the best movie career. He was in like A-list movies. He was
Mhm.
in one of the most beloved movies ever made.
Yeah,
But he was still not like the A-lister where I can see him like, oh yeah, I can just have a meal in a restaurant and I'm not swarmed by like 10,000 people because like, hey, I'll approach by one or two people wanting autograph. That's it. But like, yeah, people just leave me be. That's the dream. So like like it's a shame. It's a shame he's gone, but the movies remain, and it's what a career
absolutely.
he's had. And
And we'll
people,
get his last film,
oh,
Godzilla Kong Supernova.
as he would have wanted, yes, that's definitely the way he wants to be. Jesus,
And I swear he's definitely gonna play an Alan Grant type character. I know it. It has to be, right?
I hope, and I hope that he will make me care about that movie because I don't think I would have seen this movie otherwise.
There you go.
Like I'm not as high on those. Like if it's not Godzilla minus zero, like I'm not seeing your Godzilla movie. The Godzilla minus zero, oh yeah, I'm seeing that. But
100%.
the American Godzilla and movies are like no, 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 no. But no, and yeah, please watch Hunt for Wilder People and Possession because two different, very very different experiences. Plan accordingly.
Absolutely. I'm just scrolling through Sam Neill's IMDb and seeing things like Daybreakers. Apparently he was in the Tudors
Yes.
series as Cardinal Thomas Wolsey. I had never watched that.
He was about in the show about a pope, I think. There was a show where he played a pope, I think. I never seen it, but I know it was a big deal at one time, like 2010s.
He was in Bicentennial Man.
Mm.
Event Horizon
Oh
was
yes.
a crazy twisted role for him too. And he was part of that insane cast of the 1994 Stephen Sommers The Jungle Book Disney adaptation.
Mm.
Because like Carrie Elwes is in that, John Cleese is in that, Lena Headey's in that. In the Mouth of Madness from John Carpenter. Love his performance in that too. Just so many great performances over the course of his career. So you will be
100%.
missed, Sam Neill. You will be missed.
100%. 100%. So, do you want to move
Time to
along to the
Yes, let's dive into our main topic, which is how do these two guys who watch a lot of movies watch movies?
so
And
why don't you take it away? Because obviously, like I watch a
yeah,
lot of movies, but I pale in comparison to you.
I will not give away all my secrets. Um,
But some.
but some the thing is, my biggest thing is I try to watch a new movie every day.
Hmm.
Most of the time, and this is me not trying to brag, but generally I have a lot of press screening links. So
Hmm.
like I try to at least get through one of those a day.
Hmm.
Um, I've been cutting back on saying yes to everything.
Hmm.
I've made some conscious efforts to manage my time and my energy a little bit better. But generally, how do I approach watching movies? If it's a new movie, I would 100% prefer to see it in a theater.
Hmm.
And I'm lucky enough a lot of the times I see press screenings for movies, but like case in point, Super Troopers 3, they're not doing any
Hmm.
press screenings for that, which that's not the kind of movie that they're worried about getting press screenings out there for. So I'll be seeing that opening night with a group of my friends who we've watched Super Troopers together. So like I want to watch it in a theater.
Hmm.
I will say, not every new movie that gets released in a theater I watch in a theater now
Hmm.
because I am trying to balance my life better. And if it's a smaller film that I know will be getting released on VOD in 17 days, I'll occasionally actually wait for that to come out. But if it is a wide released film and I'm gonna write an article for it from my website, definitely, and I make a video for my YouTube channel for any new movie that I watch, no matter how big or small it is. I watch things in a theater.
Hmm.
I do get a lot of press screening links for some films that do actually come out in theaters. I do my best to watch it on my TV,
Hmm.
but not every screening link is as easy to cast to the TV or not, which is frustrating to me. They've made a lot of strides with INDEE, like screener platform, but not all of them you could actually watch on the TV. So like
Mm.
sometimes I have to pull it up on my laptop and HDMI it to the TV and do all that nonsense. And I will occasionally, if I can't get it onto the TV or cast it, I try to watch it on either my laptop or my iPad.
Hmm.
But most movies, like I want to be watching them either in a theater or on a TV.
Yeah.
And I very, 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 very rarely have watched a movie on a phone.
I never watched a movie on a phone.
Yeah. One time that I watched a new movie on a phone was because Rowan texted me a file of it and it downloaded on my phone.
Oh,
So, and that was the only way I was going to be able to watch it. So I did.
do you
Um,
remember what movie it was?
it was that Italian documentary that got nominated for Best Original Song at the Academy Awards because I was
Oh,
trying to check them all
yeah.
off of my watch list, and I'm like, this is the only way I'm going to be able to watch this. I'm doing it.
Hmm.
Was it Viva Verde that nobody heard
Yes.
about when
Yeah.
it got announced? It's even like I had the announcements up on my second monitor at work that morning,
Hmm.
and then when they said original song from Viva Verde, I'm like, what movie?
Yep.
But generally, I want to watch it on TV if I'm not watching it in a theater. How do I watch movies? I am that type of person. I will spend the money on Vudu or Amazon to rent a movie.
Okay.
I do that pretty frequently when it's something off my watch list or something I'm watching for our podcast that I don't own,
Hmm. Hmm.
which to be fair, I do own like 2,200 movies. So I own a lot of movies. I also pay for every major streaming service.
Hmm.
So I have Netflix, Amazon, HBO Max, Peacock, and Paramount Plus, and AMC Plus, MGM Plus. For some reason, it's a separate streaming service than
Yes.
Amazon Prime Video, despite the fact that they're both owned by Amazon.
Yes.
And so Criterion Channel, which
Hmm.
is Chef's Kiss, Mubi, all of those things. I have been because some movies that I wind up watching for some of our podcasts and stuff, I can't find anywhere.
Yep.
And I do go to Internet Archive if it's old enough and hope that it's on there.
Hmm.
And a lot of movies like that do wind up on Internet Archive. Occasionally, I have wandered upon some Russian website or something to watch, which honestly, I had to do that for Grand Illusion to start my new Criterion podcast because the Criterion release of Grand Illusion's out of print
Hmm.
and it's literally nowhere. It's not on any streaming service. It's not on HBO Max or Criterion Channel. So I will occasionally find some, and there's also a couple websites that I'll watch if I'm trying to watch an anime that I can't find anywhere.
Yep. Yep.
But generally, I do try to pay for
Hmm.
anything, and also sometimes you get lucky it's on YouTube because it's old enough where it's just on somebody's channel.
Hmm. Hmm.
But that's basically what it looks like for Shane watching movies because I watch a lot of movies and like do I spend a lot of money on movies? A
Sounds
lot
like
less than
it.
I could. A lot less than I could because I get so many press screenings and screening links and stuff like that. But I do spend a decent amount of money watching older movies
Hmm.
and for all these streaming services that, some other people benefit from. Um, some of those streaming services are getting ridiculously annoying about, are you home?
Yeah.
Is this your
Yeah.
primary address? HBO Max is getting so frustrating with that.
Hmm.
And I don't appreciate it. I just paid my $230 a year for your streaming service. Leave me the hell alone. But anyway, so that's kind of like broad strokes things.
So for me, okay, I try to watch, like I try to go to the cinema more often, but like there are months, I'm not proud of it. There are months where like I don't really go. Maybe once, even though I do have. So you guys have like AMC Unlimited or whatever you guys call it,
AMC A list and then
A-list,
Regal Unlimited.
but
Yep.
it's not really unlimited because it's like 4 movies a week.
Right. Which for most people,
That's fine.
it's unlimited. I have pushed it.
So we,
Especially before I used to get so many press screenings,
mm,
I've pushed that amount
yeah.
before.
Because so for me, I try to go more because I actually so in the UK there's this chain called Cineworld,
Yep.
and we do have unlimited. But here in the UK, it actually means unlimited. You can go throughout the entire day and to as many screenings as you can catch. Like, so what I love to do, like at the one point before I got a bit promoted in my job, I would have 4 days off. So I would work 4 days or 4 nights, and then I would have 4 days off. Lovely. So many times what I would love to do is like go on like a Tuesday or Wednesday and spend a day in a cinema. So I would time it. So I would start one movie at let's say like 11. It finishes, and just as that finishes, the other one is about to start on this screening. And to finish it
Yep.
off afterwards, I'm gonna watch this one more. So there was a day, literally, this is what happened. In 2023, I watched the first Sisu movie in the morning.
Mhm.
Then I caught the Across the Spider-Verse, which blew me
Okay.
away. And then I finished the day with, hey, Super Mario is still on. Super Mario Brothers from 2020 is still on. Let me catch it. And that was fun. So, like, some days, like, I spend a day in a cinema and, like, watch three or sometimes, like, four. I don't think I ever managed to watch 4 movies in a cinema in one day.
I've tried.
Mm-hmm.
Especially post COVID
Mm-hmm.
with shrinking hours at theaters. I haven't been able to make it work. I've
Yep.
tried really hard. There's been days where I really tried.
Yep. And as far as like, so like I try to go to the cinema, especially with actually having unlimited, that means unlimited.
Yeah.
But like gets in the way, like, responsibilities, life, all that good stuff. So at home, as you, I have Netflix, Amazon. So there's a thing called Now TV, which effectively is like HBO. So it has like many HBO
Okay.
stuff. Mubi, BFI,
Nice.
and there's one that's missing. There's one that's about like I think there's a sixth one. I'm blanking on right now. We do not, and I talked to you about this before. We do not get fucking Criterion in the UK.
Boo.
Yeah, so like I would have
Boo
easily
them.
subscribed, like but every time I go to the Criterion from my UK address, they're like, oh yeah, unfortunately this streaming service is not available where you are, but you can request it. And I guess if more people request it, they will actually make some effort. Fuck knows.
I don't understand how the UK hasn't gotten enough requests to get
Same,
Criterion Channel, but
same.
whatever.
And so as you, I hate watching movies or TV shows, doesn't matter, on anything but my TV. So every once in a while, for mostly for one of our podcasts, I'm not gonna say I'm not, like I try to pay for the movies. Oh yeah, I do not rent movies because fuck that.
Yeah.
Like I have principles. I have movies on my shelf. I haven't watched. I have like six streaming services. And if there's a movie that's on not on those streaming services, I'm like, you know what? I've tried my best. I can, let's say I cannot even make a hey, it's on Shudder, and let's say I'll make a login for a week to watch it legally. I'm just gonna,
Mm.
you know what? Fuck this. So
Yeah.
I try not to, but occasionally I put on my pirate hat and like browse the seas, the deep, not so dangerous seas, if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I have my home server where I have some movies. But again, like every time I like one of the movies, I try to then purchase it on Blu-ray or 4K, to kind of equal it out. So I have
Mhm.
some morals, I have some standards, and I hate watching movies on anything but like a bigger screen, at least like the big screen I have, because my TV
Yeah.
is like nice OLED 4K, like 50, 60 inch, like very nice quality. So especially the 4K, they look immaculate on that TV. So, and every once in a while, when the my home server is not powerful enough, or the app, my Plex app is not powerful enough on the fucking TV, and it starts to lag, I come upstairs to my home office, and I have a monitor here set up where I also HDMI everything,
Yeah.
and I just watch it on like a slightly bigger screen. So like, and I already hate this. Like, and I already like, every time I have to do this, I'm already hating myself and cursing my ancestors because I'm like, why would you do this? But no, yeah. So that's kind of my broad strokes of how I watch movies. Like I
Yeah.
try, like used to be like in the wild days of the internet, Shane, before 2010s. Torrents? No, the problem. Fine, just download whatever you want. It's fine. So like I used to pirate like where I'm from, Czech Republic. That's totally normal. Like everybody does that. Oh, you buy movie? What do you mean you buy movies? Why? There is a movie you can watch it right now online. You don't even have to download anything. Why would you
I
fucking pay for this?
I have a friend who has a giant he has a very large hard drive just full of movies. He's like, why would you buy anything? They're
Yep.
just all available. And
Yeah. Yep.
my principles are I support art of film
Yep.
and I'm pragmatic. The fact that the film is film industry,
Hmm.
it is capitalist in that format because you don't just magically get money to make movies. You have to make a profit. They're coming from a studio and stuff. So I want movies to continue to get made, so I do pay for movies.
Yes.
I the only time that I don't pay for a movie is if that movie is literally not available anywhere else.
Pretty much. Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are movies that are not. And it's a shame. And like I said before, like when I covered the early years of cinema, all that stuff's on YouTube
Yeah.
because it's in the public domain at
Hmm.
that point. Nobody's making money off it. They're
Correct.
just in the public domain. So if it's a public domain thing, yeah, I'm watching it on YouTube. Like, why the hell not?
Hmm.
And as time goes by, more and more of these films will be in public domain and stuff like that. It's not like I'm going and making horrific horror movie versions of these movies and disrespecting them.
Can you imagine?
Can you imagine? But I love going to the movie theater.
Hmm.
And because there's so much less, there's less distractions. you're fully enveloped. Like when I sat and watched the Odyssey earlier this week, I was just in awe. I spent half the movie with my jaw, like
Yeah.
jaw dropped, mouth open, just ogling at the screen, just being like, I can't believe what I'm watching right now. And, not every theater going experience is equal,
Hmm.
and some people make it worse.
As we
Uh,
discussed it on this show. Yep.
yes, but I feel like that's the most ideal way to watch it. And, if I'm away from home and I want to watch a movie and like I have my laptop, I'll watch it on there. But like if I have access to a TV, I'd much rather be casting it.
Hmm.
Whether that's why I love Vimeo. When I get press screening links through Vimeo, it's so easy to cast it to my Apple TV,
Hmm.
and then boom, I'm watching on the TV.
Yeah.
But also like I own so many movies, and if I own a movie, I'm going to be watching it. And I do own a lot of DVDs because I've been collecting these since for the past 25 years. But I do try to get 4Ks if I can
Hmm.
because,
Hmm.
they're touched up, they look nicer. It's just I want to watch movies.
Yes.
And if there's a movie that I want to watch or I'm going to watch it for a podcast, nothing's going to stop me. I'm going to find it.
Hmm.
Like my process of figuring out now I'm really going to get to see like this is how systematic I am in life. When you have free time, some people
Hmm.
are just like, "Well, I'm in the mood for this." I don't let my mood get in the way of me figuring out what to do.
So how do you
So,
decide? Yeah.
so I have a die, like a
Oh.
literal wooden die that's,
Okay.
numbered 1 through 6,
Yeah.
and I roll it.
Okay.
If it lands on one, it's a new movie. So if I have like a screening link or another new movie, honestly, I was dreading landing on that this week because I was out of screening links, and a lot of the movies I haven't watched so far this year were not that enticing to me. And I watched some trash over the past couple weeks. But number one, new movie. Number
Hmm.
two, watch list movie. Whether that's I have to watch, I immediately go to what I need to watch for a podcast, and I'm really trying to watch them within the week that I'm
Yeah.
going to record about it so they're fresh.
Yeah.
But then I also have an obscene watch list. So like I'm going through that. Like last night we landed on two. I read through my watch list on my notes app because I have my obscenely 8,000 movie watch list on my Excel document, but then I made like a curated the ones I really want to watch on a notes app on my phone. And I read through them until my wife picks one that she's actually interested in. So
Hmm.
like we watched Existence last night, the Cronenberg
Ooh.
movie from 1999, and it's weird shit.
It is.
And I went on Amazon because I was gonna rent it, but they're like, you could subscribe to the Howdy streaming service for free for a week. That's $2.99 a month and watch this. I'm like, why am I gonna rent this for $4.99 when I could get a free trial of this streaming service, or
Yep.
even just pay for the streaming service for a month for $2.99?
Yep.
So that's what I did. Number three is I watch one of my movies.
So physical.
Yes. So one of the movies that I own on physical media, and how I usually do that is I use a random number generator, and it lands on what it lands on. And I, if it's just me, I just watch it if I have the time. So like if I landed on Once Upon a Time in America,
Hmm.
which is 4 hours, and I only have 2 hours, well, on to the next one it lands on. And then four, five, and six are books. And so four is television, five is books, and six is podcast. So like that's how I
Hmm.
decide what I do with my free time.
Okay. That is fascinating. That is okay. So my system is much easier. I've made a rule for myself. Like I need to process your system for a bit. I'll think about it. But in the meantime, I'll tell you, like, cause like I'm a simple guy. But I had a realization like 10 years ago where I didn't have a system and I discovered them. I'm watching mainly new movies and I am not catching up with a lot of like classics and
Yeah.
older movies and all that. So if you go through my letterboxd, I always try to have it as like a almost a Russian roulette, where you don't know what's coming up next. And what I mean by that, I made a this is a just a, no my own rule. I'm not saying this is correct, but I'm saying there's a line between 2000 and anything above 2000 I consider quote unquote a new movie. Anything below 2000 is a old movie. Now, I
Mhm.
do not believe, again, just to clarify, because this is the internet. I do not believe movies from 1999 are old movies. No, this is just for my simplified rule.
Yeah.
That's it. And so I always like, unless I'm spending the day in a cinema or my wife wants to watch a specific movie, right? I try to watch a new movie, an old movie, a new movie, an old movie, a new movie, an old movie. And for this year, like Shane knows about this, I've set myself a challenge where at least I would like to finish the year 2026 with my letterbox stat being at least quarter, like 25% foreign movies,
Mhm.
non-English movies. So far, I'm on a good track. So far, I think I'm at like 26% right now because I watched a shit ton of like Italian movies, French movies, some Japanese movies, a movie from Chile. Yeah, so like, and that's where like movie or BFI are amazing resources where they have bunch of like great stuff. Even though the BFI app is fucking shit, I'll just say like BFI, I love what you're doing. I love the Blu-rays. I love the care you put into the movies. But obviously, you don't really care about this app because this app is horrendous. You make me feel like I have the power to make my watch list on a website. And I'm like, cool. And then there's no watch list on the actual app. When I log into the app, I'm like, where is my fucking watch list? Where is my like when I put my like 60 plus movies I want to see? There is not a single tab for what I've gone through the app several times. I'm not missing anything.
Wow.
I'm like for a Samsung TV, if you download the BFI app, every time I want to watch something on it, I go on my phone, I log into the BFI app through my phone, or sorry, website through my phone, and go
Mhm.
through my profile and a watch list. So I see, oh yeah, this is what I put in my watch list. Oh yeah, I'm in the mood for this, and this is either a newer or older movie. Doesn't matter. Okay, I'm watching this. So there are some great movies, but yeah, it's just the app is shit. So yeah, you're like and TV. Like I'm better with TV watching. Like now I have finally caught up with many TV shows, and I'm started some new ones.
Mhm.
I'm now currently in a starting Fallout season 2. But
Nice.
yeah, like my brain, the way it works, I cannot watch like 10,000 new shows. Meaning, like I'm gonna be in the middle of this show and this show and this show. No, I don't know if I'm bit on a spectrum, bit special boy. I don't know, maybe. But like I just like the way I try to watch TV is when I finish a show and it's actually proper finished once and done. Like The Bear just finished. I still haven't seen a
Yep.
single episode of The Bear, but I know the fifth season is the last. That's it. So
Yep.
that immediately jumped to the top of my queue because that's a TV show that's done and dusted. So if I actually binge it, I know, and it's not going to be a new commitment. Whereas, like, Alien Earth, Fallout, those are new commitments for the future,
Yep.
you know.
Mhm.
And that's how I choose my TV shows. But yeah, like, I don't do die because, like, when I feel like I have time and my wife is not home, yeah, I'm just gonna watch a movie. And based on hey, what's the last movie I watched? Oh, this is a 2022 movie. Okay, so an older movie. Okay, let me go to Prime Video. I haven't seen something from Prime Video in a while. Hey, there's this 1973 horror movie from France or Italy. That looks horny. Let's watch it. That's
There
it.
you go. Well, and honestly, I take a lot of my feelings and thoughts out of it. I
Hmm.
just leave it up to chance.
Yeah.
And honestly, I'm perfectly fine doing that because I don't need to
Hmm.
be in a particular mood to watch a particular thing. And like yesterday, I spent most of the morning. I had three new shows. My Fridays have been really clogged with new television, thanks
Yeah.
Apple TV Plus. So like I watched a couple of the watched the episodes of the new shows that I've been watching, and then I spent I put on a audiobook and moved a whole bunch of stuff around my house, preparing
Hmm.
for floor replacement today. But
Hmm.
then I got to the afternoon and I was dead, and I'm just like basically like if I have a day off,
Hmm.
or I try to watch one episode of a television show every day.
Okay.
Um, like if I don't have any new episodes of a weekly show, like this morning, I'm in the middle of catching up on the show Running Point,
Mm.
with Kate Hudson on Netflix. So like I watched an episode of that this morning
Hmm.
as I was doing my morning rituals and stuff. And then like I couldn't use my treadmill today because there's a whole bunch of stuff on it and surrounding it after I moved everything. So I try to watch an episode of television. I try to watch a new movie every day.
Hmm.
So like probably what I'm gonna do after we're done recording here is because I haven't got to watch a new movie today, is watch one of the screening links that I got yesterday.
Yep.
One of them's only available for 48 hours, so I do actually need to watch it
Hmm.
pretty soon. And then I try to watch an older movie, whether like if it's something I have to watch for a podcast, which right now I don't have anything in the next week
Nice.
that I haven't watched already. So I would just go to my watch list and watch
Hmm.
the next thing on it, which I think is the Broadway Melody. That's the next thing on my watch list, the Best Picture winner from 1929. So like those are probably going to be some of the things I do this afternoon. And
Hmm.
then if I'm gone through that, then it's up to the die.
Yep.
My wife also doesn't like making decisions. So she's perfectly happy with me just rolling the die. And then I give her like small decisions to make.
Hmm.
So like I wound up reading a whole bunch yesterday afternoon because I think I like if I land on a book, I'll read or listen to a chapter of a book.
Hmm.
I kept landing on that over and over and over again. So like I did a whole bunch of reading yesterday afternoon.
So wait, so when you roll, okay, so when you roll your dice and it lands on a reading, so does that mean in your brain like a one chapter or like 1 hour? How long are you reading for?
Generally, it's one chapter,
Okay.
unless they're like really short
Because
chapters,
I'm like,
and
yeah, like
then
some of them are like
I'll
eight
read like a
pages.
or like like I remember reading Running Man and almost every chapter was 2 pages, 3 pages.
Okay.
So then like I'll read like a couple of chapters.
Hmm.
Like I'll give it a short television show amount. Like I'll sit there for 30 minutes and read. I was reading a couple of Dickens novellas from like this big book that my mom got me, and
Hmm.
they're like 70 pages a piece. So
Yeah.
like when I landed on it, I read the novella because like
Hmm.
70 pages I can that or like a graphic novel. If it's not like an obscenely long one, I can
Hmm.
just sit and read the graphic novel through. Like I got a an advanced copy of a new graphic novel, Mike McCready's Farewell to Seasons, and he's from Pearl Jam. So
Hmm.
he had like a fictionalized recounting of the 90s music scene of Seattle, where
Hmm.
like grunge was becoming popular and stuff. And like that was something I could sit and read in one sitting. So
Yeah.
I did. And then made a video about it. And it won't post until November because that's when the book comes out.
Nice.
But like, so that's what I'll do with books.
Hmm.
And, if I'm at home, I have some coffee table books that I'm trying to read that I can't physically put in my briefcase and bring with me. So,
Hmm.
like, if I'm home, I'm reading them. And then I have a book in my briefcase. So, like, what I do when I actually could take a break at work is I sit and read for the hour
Yeah.
of my break at work. So, like, right now, I am starting the long walk.
Oh, nice.
So, which I'm excited to be diving into. And then podcast wise, like if I have podcasts that come out on a day, I listen to all podcasts at 2 speed. I listen to them in the car or when you know I'm at work or something like that, just on in the background.
Hmm.
And I was listening to Unspooled from like was it Amy Nicholson and I forget the comedian's name, but I got frustrated with that and some of their takes on things. I'm like, I'm not enjoying this.
Hmm.
So I kind of gave up on that yesterday, to be perfectly honest,
Hmm.
especially after Amy Nicholson was like, no comic book movies deserve to ever be on the AFI top movies of all time list. And
Interesting.
like, I hate shit like that. If you're gonna be that way about genres of movies, and she's like a top critic
Hmm.
in Los Angeles, and I'm like, this is why people hate critics.
Hmm.
If you're gonna be that way about certain types of movies and stuff like that.
Because
Oh, it's Paul Shear is
ah,
the other host, and he's even like, well, how are they any different than like westerns and stuff like that? And
because
I
isn't
didn't
it what they
like,
used to say about like horror movies?
well, and it's that kind of stuff frustrates me when people
Hmm.
make broad generalizations about a whole entire genre. It's like because you're a comic book movie, you're not good enough.
Hmm.
So I'm actually in the process of trying to figure out a new podcast to listen to. Um, but
Yeah.
you know, I I watch a lot of TV too. I'm going to be later tonight recording our halfway through the year 2026 episode of Mike's podcast here on the SPDM crew,
Hmm.
catching up on stuff like that. But and I have other interests. I'll occasionally like play some video games and stuff like that.
Hmm.
And I love sports too. I'm a big baseball fan. Usually I don't presently have any cable,
Hmm.
so like I can't watch the sports games, but like baseball seasons, and I'll just have like little summary update pages on in the background while I'm like watching something just to check in on how the game's going.
Yeah.
And but I keep busy, obviously.
So for me, like when it comes to reading, I need to read more. But what we've tried to do, and we need to get back to it with my wife, we've tried to implement like our reading hour. So like every
Yeah.
Sunday, we wanted to do like, we just take an hour if we're at home
Hmm.
and just, not be on our phones, not, no TV, no music, nothing, just a nice peace and quiet. And we both have our books and we would just read a book. I've
Hmm.
managed to finish whole one book this year, so whoa, that's one extra than than last year.
The last year.
I need to get back to it because like every time I have free time and my wife is not home, like she's working and stuff, I'll just watch a movie because it's
Yeah.
easy and I love movies. But like I
Yeah.
do need to get back to reading more. And as far as like podcasts go, like I'm kind of the same. Like when I drive to work, I listen to podcasts. When I at my work, I cannot really listen to podcasts because like like I'm in an office, so like I cannot really be like like I know some people in my office they do have headsets on like but like our boss doesn't like it. But if I'm working from home and I can work from home, yeah, like I have a V speaker here, so I always Bluetooth my phone to the speaker. Excuse me. And yeah, I just go through like 7 hours of podcast on a normal day. And if I'm doing something around the flat or apartment, and just and well, my wife is not home because I try to be considerate. So like I know she doesn't want to listen to others talk about movies. So yeah, I just like when I'm washing dishes, I just put on a podcast. When I'm doing laundry, I'm putting on a podcast. So like I'm walking around a flood with my phone blasting a podcast, and usually it's just people talking about movies. Sometimes it's people
Yeah.
talking about finance. That's about it. So, but no,
Yeah,
like
I just listen to movie
yeah,
podcasts. That's
yeah.
basically it.
I know, like, but what I wanted to touch on is so you mentioned you listen to podcasts on two times speed, but you do not watch movies on like any
Correct.
higher speed. Okay,
No.
that's good because
No, I like I'm gonna watch a movie. I'm gonna watch a movie. The podcast thing is like it's not affecting any visual. I don't watch podcasts either, and most of the time podcasts are just people talking. So
yeah,
like and as long as I can understand what they're saying, it's fine to me.
hmm,
Because like some of the podcasts, like I've my favorite podcast is Cinephiles, and they're sometimes 2 to 4 hour podcasts, and it's a lot easier to manage when they're half that length because you're listening to it on double speed. But
yeah,
no, movies I watch in their actual format and no other way.
because yeah, like that's something I was gonna touch on. Like, so I try not to judge others because I know not everybody is like me, so which is cool. But if you watch movies on phone or again, there seems to be a trend creeping in where many streaming services are now introducing, hey, you can watch movies on 1.25 speed or 1.5 speed. And I'm like, if you watch a new movie you've never seen on that kind of speed, well, fuck you. I'm sorry, but like, no. Like, I will judge. Like, I try not to gatekeep and be open-minded and all that good stuff. But no, like if it's something for a rewatch, let's say, I think there's a different scenario if you've already seen a movie and it's just for
Mhm.
like a podcast or refresh your memory or whatever, then like, put it on a background or watch it on 1.5 speed. Okay, that's fine, fine. But like the moment I was like, oh yeah, always wanted to watch this movie. Let me put it on whilst I'm doing something completely different, and it's also on like 1.5 speed, so I don't have to spend whole 2 hours with it. I'm like, then in that, like, have you even watched the movie? Because like that's the other thing. Like, would you second screen stuff?
Do I?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I'll if I'm mindlessly typing through like Excel spreadsheets and
Mm-hmm.
stuff like that, or just copy and pasting emails and
Mm-hmm.
nonsense like that, like I'll have a show on in the background,
Mm-hmm.
or like I'll throw on like a movie that I watched before that's not something that I'm gonna have to give my 100% attention to just
Yeah.
because like it's available. But like, or I'm listening to a podcast or I'm listening to a book and something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing, I could get away with that during the summer when
Mm-hmm.
I'm just sitting around in my office and not a lot's going on. But like during the school year, it's complete mayhem
Yep.
all day. All so like it's a different kind of thing.
Yep.
But no, like I'll second screen things if I'm doing something where like to be frank, I don't have a whole lot to do at work because we're in such a weird like they won't release our budget, so I can't hire my student workers for the fall yet, as it's more than halfway through July,
Mm-hmm.
which is very frustrating. And there's been so much turnover at work. A lot of the people I'm going to be working with in the fall haven't been hired yet
Mm-hmm.
and stuff like that. So like I'm just sitting at my desk spitting pokey stops and watching or listening to shit. But like if I'm like actively working, and like most of my job when like during the school year, like I'm talking to tutors, I'm having meetings, I'm tutoring or teaching and stuff like that. Obviously, I'm not going to be doing other things,
Yeah. Yeah.
but when I'm just sitting around in my office mindlessly putting in equations and Excel documents and stuff like that on a bit on autopilot, like I could have something on in the background.
Mm-hmm. Like again, like background noise, like yeah, that's fine. I think to me, as long as you've seen it before, I think that's sensible. Like, oh yeah, I just want to rewatch this. I've seen it already, so I don't have to give it my
And
full
you're
attention.
sitting in your office trying not to laugh out loud when you something on and
Yep.
that's funny, stuff like that.
But
But no, like I get that.
because for me it would be easier because especially when working from home, I'm at home. Like I have it, well, I'm pointing it as you could see it. There's a monitor next to this one which, if I want it I could plug in by a nice HDMI cable, and I can have my work environment on this screen. I'm looking at you, Shane, right now, and I can,
Yeah.
but I would never do it with the new stuff because like I would feel bad. And also, like, I should be working. So, like, it's like, you know what? Let's not do that. But yeah, I just don't like because I know there are people who I don't understand their letterboxd stats, like how they manage to watch so much unless they're taking some shortcuts. And I'm like, if you're taking shortcuts with movies you've already watched, I think that's fair. But like, if you're taking shortcuts just to boost up your numbers and log more, I think that's the point where you kind of losing the plot a bit.
I'm
So,
actively making decisions to bump down my numbers.
well,
So that's where I
yeah.
that's the thing. But no, I do get that. And like case in point, with a laptop here in front of me,
Mm-hmm.
I have a TV right there.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like it's in my field of view
And do
and
you have
stuff like
something on
that.
it playing?
No,
See?
see, like we're actively talking.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was sitting in some kind of like if I'm sitting, I don't work from home very often.
Yeah.
Um, like I'm going to next Thursday because I'm gonna have to go pick up my dad and bring him to a house inspection.
Mm-hmm.
And my only meetings that day were on Zoom anyway. And that's a crazy thing. So many of my damn meetings are on Zoom still, and I'm just
Yep.
like sitting in my office. I'm just like, we're human beings during the summer. And but like if I'm working from home, and
Mm-hmm.
most of the time I'm working from home if I'm not actively in a meeting, I'm answering emails and doing like Excel stuff. Like I could throw a show on in the background and have
Exactly.
that on, stuff like that. Especially some of those days where I do have a lot of shows come out. There's a point where, which I have Fridays off during the
Mm-hmm.
summer, which is nice. There's a point where I had 6 Friday shows. And I'm
Nice.
like, Apple, spread that shit out.
Mm-hmm.
Don't drop. And I guess their thought is like, well, you could just watch them over the course of the weekend. I'm like, I have other stuff I'm going to watch over the weekend. I just want to get through these shows. Like yesterday, I watched, it was Cape Fear, Sugar,
Hmm.
Philo. Those were the new shows that I had. And I had just finished Star City last week and Welcome to Wrexham the week before. And it's just like, I would just, that's a side complaint. I want streaming services to, you know, leverage the whole week
Yeah. Yeah.
where you're not all dropping this episodes on the same exact day. But
Hmm.
no, and, you know, it's funny because I will literally be using three screens at work sometimes for work
Yeah.
for efficiency.
Yes.
So, and like I always had this laptop off to the left of me, and I have dual screen desktop, except they're getting rid of all of our desktops at work.
Uh,
So, if they actually had the money, I probably wouldn't have a desktop anymore. I would have a laptop. But we don't have throwing around money at Ryder at the moment.
doesn't sound like it, no. Is a question before we move forward. Is
Yeah,
Cape Fear on Apple really that bad? Because I hear awful things about that show.
it's I think it falls under the same frustration. I have a and I'm going to be talking about this later.
Hmm.
One of my biggest frustrations with television is that everybody thinks you need to make miniseries now instead
Hmm.
of movies.
Yep.
That did not need does not need to be a 10 episode miniseries, that Cape Fear show.
Ah.
But I don't think it's bad. I think it's unhinged and wild. And I'm
Hmm.
like, I can't believe they're doing this now.
Hmm.
But isn't that kind of the point of Cape Fear? Is that it's like even the original film
Hmm.
is less campy and ridiculous. The
Yes.
Scorsese film is ridiculously over the top and crazy.
Yeah.
And I think the show matches that energy pretty well.
Okay. Okay. Because yeah, I haven't seen a single episode of the show yet because it's new. I'm back at the point where I don't have Apple
Well, it'll
TV.
be done in 2 weeks.
Hmm.
So just to give you a heads up.
Yeah.
And unless they're trying to turn this into actually, I'm gonna check now. Oh no, this is listed as a TV series and not a mini series.
Ooh.
God.
But who knows? Maybe it's gonna be like, oh yeah, you know what? It's only one season only. Like, not enough people watched it, so season two canceled.
Honestly, I haven't heard much of the discourse around it, but IMDb, every episode's a 7.0 or above. They're all in the sevens.
Because all Discord I see on like a random a subreddit here and there, people are hating it. I've yet to start, like I'm not looking for it, but I've yet the algorithm is yet to
Well,
recommend me a positive review.
did they say anything specifically why it sucks, or they just throw in
No.
broad strokes? This is a dumb show, or
Well,
this
they probably do, but I try not to read much, so I just see the
fair.
headlines. And I try not to read because I haven't seen it. I don't want this to influence my opinion as much because I don't want them to get into details about, oh, yeah, because this performance or this choice. And I'm like, you know what? I'll see it for
They're
myself
making some
personally.
unhinged choices, and it's very different
Yes.
than the source material. I will give it that.
But back to us, how we watch stuff.
Yes.
Question, because like I think you kind of gave me the answer, but I just wanted to double check. Where do you stand when watching a movie, pausing and finishing a movie next day or next or in a couple of hours? Let's say you start a movie, you know you have an appointment in an hour, but the movie is 2 hours. So would you start the movie and like pause
I
it?
I try if it's new, I try not to do that. If I'm
Hmm.
rewatching something, I'm fine pausing and coming back to
Okay.
finishing it.
Hmm.
My biggest issue personally is falling asleep while I'm watching a movie later at night.
Yeah.
And then I have to go back and finish it the next morning.
Yeah.
Um, and I've been I've been struggling with me getting into my mid 30s and not being able to push to 11 o'clock. Like I fell asleep last night at 10:05 with a book in my hand and woke up the next morning, like woke up this morning, my back hurt because I fell asleep on my couch. And
Mm.
book closed on my lap. I'm like, shit. Then, fed the cats because, it's 5 o'clock and they're screaming at me.
Hmm.
But no, that's my biggest thing, and that's not on purpose.
Yeah.
I'm trying to make better decisions to not try to start things later. If it's after 9 o'clock, I probably shouldn't be trying to start a new movie.
Hmm.
Um, but sometimes I have to try to squeeze stuff in. I'm in summer mode and I have a lot more flexibility over the summer.
Yeah.
But during the school year, it's a little bit different because I'm trying to squeeze stuff in and I might push myself, but I I need to figure out my new sleeping patterns because mine are a little out of whack at the moment. But generally, I will if I'm gonna try to squeeze in a movie, I will pick one that fits time-wise into that period of time.
That is, yeah, exactly how I am. Like if I know, oh yeah, like again, like I'm home alone today. My wife is working. So if I know, oh yeah, she finishes this time at this time, it takes her roughly, you know, half an hour to get home or whatever. So I know, oh, I have, let's say, 4 hours from now, right? So I know I could either do like one long movie or two like shortish movies, and like maybe a
Yeah.
TV show, and like that's it. Like so, because I try, like I try to be mindful. So I try not to be in the middle of something as she comes home because I want to speak to her. I want to spend some time with her. We have our shows we watch. We want to talk about how her day was, how my day was, all that good stuff, right? So I always like, I try really hard. I don't even remember. I think I've done it maybe once or twice ever in my life where I started a movie, paused it, or like had to stop it and then finish it the next day. Because
I used
yeah.
I used to do that a lot when I
Hmm.
was younger, when I
Hmm.
was like a kid growing up, because I never knew when my mom needed to like grab me for an errand and stuff like
Hmm.
that. And I'd be like, well, pause, I'll
Yeah.
come back later.
Yeah. But yeah, like as an adult, like I'm like it disrupts the flow of the movie, and I just hate that. So like I'm again, like I don't know, call me purist, call me weird, I don't care. But like I just want to see the movie how it was meant to be seen, like all at once. Not like, oh yeah, let me just pause it for hour whilst I do this. Like I'm not gonna say I can I'll pause it and go have a pee and then like refill my water and like, come back. That's a
Yeah.
great one of the things why I prefer to stay home than go to cinemas occasionally is, hey, if it's a longer movie, I can pause it. I can go do refreshments. I can, visit the toilet if needed.
Well, one of our Sith Pop friends, who I'm not going to name, texted me after I saw the Odyssey and asked when would be a good bathroom break time.
Have you seen?
And I'm like, well, hopefully not. You don't have to go. I have only there have been two instances in a movie theater where I actively chose to go take a bathroom break.
Mhm.
And one of them was Morbius. Because I'm just like,
So you missed the It's Morbin timeline.
probably because I didn't hear it. I was just like, honestly, I was an hour in of that movie. I'm just like, I'm gonna go take a pee break. And because like I don't feel like I'm missing much. But like I've
Hmm.
held it in
Hmm.
for a couple of movies like Rogue One. I started needing to go to the bathroom halfway through it, and I'm like, nope, we're we're white knuckling this the whole rest of this movie.
See, we didn't even plan this, but when I said I watched the three movies beginning with Sisu one day, that
Yeah.
was like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna share this then. Like, I went in, it was fine. It's only like hour and a half movie. It's not a long movie by any means. But like halfway through, I'm like, damn, I don't need to pee. And then the closer it got to I'm like, damn, like this is fucking getting serious to the point I'm like, damn, like because I am the person, again, I have my set of rules. I
Mm,
hate to go and go to the toilet when I cannot pause the movie. AKA in the cinema, you cannot do that.
yeah.
So I'm like, fuck, when is this movie gonna end? When is it looks like it's gonna end soon. It's gonna end soon.
I actually took a bathroom break for my own sake from Terrifier 3.
Ah.
Because one, that Terrifier 2 and Terrifier 3 are way too freaking long. And two, like during Terrifier 3, I needed a moment.
Yep, yeah, I cannot blame you.
Because how disgusting and mean spirited those movies are. Like I needed a mental break in the bathroom for a couple minutes just to get a breather. But I'm just like, Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
no, I try to watch stuff all in one sitting. Like I will be trying to figure out when I'm gonna watch Seven Samurai all 3.5 hours. So I will be planning that sometime this week.
Yep, yep. No, but
So
like yeah, the Sisu thing that was like I was so happy when the credits started to roll. I was like, okay, I need to go. And
it's
like
like
yeah.
you're gone.
So yeah, I'm very conscious about, oh yeah, I need to make sure, like, like, oh, this, especially during like Odyssey, that's almost 3 hours. I'm like, oh, I'm excited, but like, I don't know if my bladder is excited. We will see.
There you go. There you go.
Is there anything you think we haven't covered yet, like about this, or and do you have any questions for me?
I feel like you broke things down pretty well. And like obviously I don't log anything that's not a new movie on Letterboxd.
I've noticed, yeah.
And I just add them to my lists of rankings each year. So like if you there's no well, do you get like if you go off the like notifications, do you see if somebody like edited a list?
You can see it, but you need to go to the activity bar. So if you're on an
Yeah.
app, you don't see it on a like a
So that's the
main.
only way.
Yes.
Well, people will find out if I've watched a
And see, I don't
movie
really
that
check that. So I don't
yeah.
really see you unless, yeah, you only rate the new stuff. Yes, I know
Yeah,
you
and
don't
I
do
will eventually
rewatches.
get back into actually writing reviews after I stop being mad at Disney. But you log everything, and I
Yes.
do actually like keep an eye out for your reviews. I keep an eye out for Adam's reviews.
Oh,
I've definitely been like waiting for people to post all their Odyssey reviews, and so far I have not seen a single person that I follow give it less than a four.
yeah, same. And I follow less people than you, but like even the certain people,
Yes,
certain people who shall remain nameless. I'm like, okay, okay, interesting, interesting.
but
But no, like,
no, that all that makes a lot of sense, and
mhm,
I I appreciate like if I'm watching a new movie, especially if I'm going to review it, I'm trying to like that's the only thing I'm doing.
yeah,
And like I find myself if like I'm watching other stuff, like if I have to like reply to an email or now I had to stop a couple of movies recently because I keep getting phone calls about all of this house stuff. It's been
hmm.
fun, but I think you're doing it the right way.
I
And in a perfect world, like that's how like this is how movies should be watched.
I try
Is
to.
without distractions. And I'll admit, it's gotten harder for me to like put my phone down and not be
I'm
distracted by that. And sometimes I'll just turn it off.
I'm gonna be honest, it is like sometimes when you're not in a movie, when the movie is not really pulling you, like I've struggled with, oh yeah, I'm on a phone, and it's like, oh shit, 10 minutes of the movie's gone by. I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, okay, let me put it down. But that like
Yeah,
usually that already means, hey, I'm not into this movie as much, and then I try to think of why I'm not into this movie as much. So like yeah, so I try to purposely put my phone like away so it's not within a reach because like I'm not better than anybody. Like no, like I struggle with
yeah,
too much phone time, too much screen time. My attention span is not as bad as the generation that's fresher than me, newer than me, nowhere near
yep,
that. But it's gotten worse, and I need to fix
yeah.
it because because I fucking hate that about myself. Like, oh yeah, because like you have those random thoughts when you're watching a movie and like, I wonder how much this movie made in the box office in
And
1982,
then
and it's like, and it's so
we're like,
easy to
who's
check.
that?
Or it's
And
like,
you go
oh
on
yeah, where do I know
IMDb.
this person from? Where do I know this actress from? Wait,
Yeah.
that's where was she in? What was the movie again? And then you go to IMDb, you search the movie, you search the actress. Oh yeah, she was in that movie. Okay, cool. And then suddenly you're reading trivia about the actress, and like, oh fuck, the movie is still going. Wait. No, no, no. Put the phone
Well,
down.
my favorite is when Jess and I are watching a movie together and she sends me 7 reels on Instagram while watching them. I'm like,
That is my wife. Look, like we haven't discussed it, but this is my wife because so the way she watches movies and TV shows drives me fucking insane. So last thing I'll say, we have stuff we watch together, and she has stuff she watches on her own. Because
yep,
the reason for that is simple. When it gets too intense or something, she just skips over parts, sometimes 10 minutes of like a TV show. And I'm like, no, we're not doing that. If we're watching stuff together, fuck that. No, I love you. But no, no, no. Here's some ground rules. If we put it on, we're watching it. And I know I made my peace that she needs to be on her phone a bit more than me. I made my peace with that. But I'm like, hey, I would like you to actually, like, just last night we watched Casablanca. And for
yep,
her, it was the first time. And I was like, I think you would really like it. So like, stay off your phone. And she actually did, and she really enjoyed it. I was like,
There you
that's
go.
nice. That's nice.
Well, Jess sends me reels while we're watching movies, and I send her reels while I'm on the toilet. That's how our relationship works.
No, yeah. Every time I see like a funny meme or like, I send her stuff from Reddit, and she sends me reels from Instagram. She's the only reason I have Instagram account that I don't use. That's
There you go.
which I, to be fair, I need to make an Instagram account for this show because like I need to spread the word about this show.
There you go.
But
Well,
this
and
is,
what's funny is the only reason I have Reddit on my phone is because Jess sends me stuff from Reddit.
yep, yep.
So there you go.
See,
Well, we ready to recommend something?
let's start with you, Shane. What would you like to recommend to for people to check out?
It's the Odyssey. It has to
Yes.
be.
Yeah.
Obviously a lot to process,
Hmm.
but this might go down as Christopher Nolan's best movie yet.
Wow. That's saying a
And
lot.
I'm trying to process that because I love Interstellar and The Prestige and Oppenheimer are like my top three, and they're all within like my top 100 favorite movies of
And we've
all
already
time at this.
established you hate The Dark Knight, so it's fine. Yeah.
I
Jokes, jokes.
I don't hate The
I know.
Dark Knight.
I know.
Dark Knight's on there somewhere. It's just not
Hmm.
as high. But this film is a towering achievement. The the nonlinear narrative structure, the deep, rich thematic work that connects so deeply to like modern existence is fascinating.
Hmm.
The performances across the board are fantastic. Matt Damon anchors the whole film down with a great performance. I
Matt
think Anne
Damon.
Hathaway's probably Matt Damon.
Damon.
I think I think Anne Hathaway will probably be the one most likely to get an actual Oscar win because she's
Really?
incredible.
I heard
And
Samantha Morris, her name. I heard like a buzz about her.
I don't know if Morton's gonna get an Oscar nomination with Cersei's like 5 minutes of screen time. She's not in the film a lot. Anne Hathaway's in it a lot more
Mm-hmm.
and brings a lot of emotional weight to the movie.
Hmm.
But and this is Nolan's first horror movie because there's multiple instances that this is a straight up horror movie. It's terrifying.
Cannot wait.
And the Polyphemus sequence is one that's going to grab a lot of people's attention. And there's an because like if you know the story of the Odyssey, there's a confrontation at the end of the movie, and it is so satisfying.
Hmm.
And Ludwig Göransson's score is so dynamic and interesting. It is unnerving and serene and ethereal all at the same time. It's hard to describe.
Yeah.
It's a powerful experience and you feel the weight
Hmm.
and scale of all of it. It's just really impressive. And the cast from top to bottom is so good. Robert Pattinson is such a slimy sack of shit in this movie, and he plays it so perfect.
Well, I was gonna make a joke, and it's just Robert Pattinson. What about this movie? Hey, no, I cannot
But
honestly. I cannot repeat it, enough. I cannot wait to see it tomorrow. Tickets are already booked.
yeah,
We're going with
I'm not
friends.
not gonna say anything else about it. I'm leaving it at that. It's impressive.
Hmm. Sounds like it. I cannot wait. So for my recommendation, I think you've mentioned this last time, but I haven't watched it, but I watched it now. So I will talk about The Invite from this year from Olivia
Nice.
Wilde. I seen this movie a week ago with the same friends we were watching the Odyssey with.
Yep.
Holy fuck, I haven't laughed in a movie theater like this. I don't know if maybe ever. Like this movie is so funny. It's like it's in a way of think about the drama with Zendaya from this year, and it's where drama makes you uncomfortable and leaves you bathed in that uncomfortable
Mhm.
nature of that movie. The Invite makes this uncomfortable nature so funny and so relatable. Like
Honestly,
especially
Seth Rogen might not have ever been this funny.
no, Seth Rogen
It,
might never
like
be this
legitimately.
good. I genuinely think
Yeah.
like I think to me there are like all four main performers, so Olivia Wilde, Edward Norton, Penelope Cruz, and Seth Rogen, all four are excellent. But if I were to single out two, Seth Rogen, this is his best performance, I think, by far. Even though he is still Seth Rogen, the I just love the laugh.
He
I
j-
just
he gave a lot of like Woody Allen kind of
yes,
middle-aged Jewish
yes,
man who's grumpy and but
mm,
also like snarky about his
yep.
life kind of
And
energy.
and the dude is so relatable because A, he doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. He just doesn't know when to shut the fuck up. And there is a scene with Penelope Cruz, which is another performer I would like to highlight. There's this, if you know about a movie,
Hmm.
there's an invite like where these hot neighbors invite the other not so hot neighbors, at least that's what on the movie, to potentially participate in like swap. Yep. And there is a scene where it's so relatable because, like, look, Seth Rogen and I, we are just bunch of basic white dudes. So, like, when like he had to make sure several times he's also included, he's also invited, and then
So you wanna
yeah,
you two
yeah,
wanna have
yes,
sex with
with
her
me and me.
and me?
But just to be clear, me too. And there is a scene with him and Penelope Cruz where he's thanking her all the time. And this is, I think, this is what I wrote in my Letterboxd review as a joke, but also it's not a joke. If Penelope Cruz ever, if I ever meet her and she agrees to have sex with me, I would also be thanking her throughout the entire time. Like, I'll be like, thank you for letting me do this. Thank you so much. Are you sure? Because look at you and look at me. Are you sure? Thank you. Because shit like that doesn't happen to people like us. Okay, so on that level, this is so relatable. No, but
Yep.
like, so this movie is it's funny. It like when you mentioned Woody Allen, yes, like the 70s of it all, like how it's shot, how
Yeah.
Olivia Wilde is utilizing the space. It feels limited. It's occasionally it feels claustrophobic, but it almost the flat is its own thing, its own character in a way. And then something snaps, and like you always see there's like a bit of like urgency, a bit of like sincerity behind all the jokes. And the moment the movie turns, it's like holy shit, this became like we kind of knew this is where it's going, but when it hits, it still hits hard. The end, I really loved the ending. I'm not gonna spoil it, but I'm just gonna say I
Yep.
loved it. I also loved how, I don't think this is a spoiler, I also love there's a decision how the Penelope Cruz and Edward Norton kind of just disappear. So you could make an argument, were they even there to begin with? Was it some sort of like I know this movie is not going for it, but like the way they just exit, where they are there one moment and the next moment they're both gone. We don't hear any doors opening, closing. We don't hear anything. And I think this was kind of a very conscious choice by Olivia Wilde, who directed this movie. Funny enough, she didn't wrote it. Rashida Jones and her
Yeah.
husband wrote this movie, and
Yep.
I'm like, "Hey, Rashida, is everything fine?"
Well, I had a lengthy conversation with Jess after watching this
I
movie.
think every couple had. It's
Well, and I'm starting to think that maybe this didn't hit for some younger folks
100%.
because they haven't experienced a long-term relationship in the same way.
Like, not to pull rank and not to pull, like, I don't want to be the old man shaking their face at the clouds like, "Hey, whippersnappers, listen to us." But no, this is one of those movies. If you are 20, you might enjoy it, but go back to it when you're 40. It will hit on a neither of us is 40, but we both of us,
Or
we
even
are the same.
in your mid 30s
I was gonna
and been
say,
in longer. Yeah.
we are the same age. We are halfway through 40, both of us. And I can only imagine me rewatching it in 10 years time, it's gonna hit even harder because this is, and I don't think it's anything to do with any specific generation. I think it's just like a honest, sober take on, hey, this is how people feel in a long-term marriage or relationship, how people stop, see themselves, see the other person as like a sexual being. and it's like more like a mom, dad, how they need to spark that used to be there, what attracted you to the person in the first place, and all those conversations that are happening beneath those jokes, and then towards the end more openly. Like the line Penelope Cruz has, like when she's trying to, like when she basically goes to a psychologist mode, and then she ends it with, "But I'm not your therapist, so I don't know." And I'm like, this is such a
Stop it.
beautifully bitchy line, and I love it. And
Yeah.
Penelope Cruz for me is still top five best working actresses right now. Like for me, like every role she does, like she nails it. And the fact that she manages to have career in Hollywood and in like Spain, and then they show up in like this Spanish movie. Yeah, that's great. I love it.
Parallel Mothers.
Yes.
The why do I keep blanking on the name of that? The she was a director
Hmm.
in a film with Antonio Banderas and another famous Spanish actor. Official Competition. Love that.
I haven't seen that
And
one, but I have seen a Limencita this year, the story of love between Clara and her children, set in Rome in the 70s. And this is not even a quote unquote a big director because the movies you mentioned are like a big, like a Pedro
yeah,
Almodovar, which is it's Pedro fucking Almodovar. He calls, you answer. But this is like director I've never even heard of. But Penelope Cruz is in that movie, and I'm like, and she plays a mom, and this movie is awesome. So like I love how she just like, hey, I live in Spain. And I do Hollywood movies every once in a while, and do my Spanish movies here. I'm fine with, Javier Bardem being my husband and all. We're cool. No, but like the invite, honestly, like I haven't laughed this openly and this hard for so much. And then yeah, if you see it with your partner, I think there's gonna be pretty much like every conversation after that is gonna be like, hey, should we fuck more? I think we should fuck more, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
had that conversation. So
So like
there you go.
Invite genuinely is one of the best movies of this year. Like Olivia Wilde was redeemed herself.
Yeah.
Like in my eyes, I am back on. Hey,
Don't worry,
let's.
darling, didn't happen. That was just
Yes,
a bad fever dream.
that was a very bad fever dream. And yeah, I cannot wait to see what she comes up with next. And hopefully, obviously, by the time this podcast comes out, it's gonna be long gone. But hey, if you are on a, if you've been burned by Don't Worry, Darling, and want a financial compensation, I cannot give you that. But I can give you is, hey, Olivia Wilde made this really cool movie that feels contemporary, but also feels kind of like old in a really good way where like it's just and you can oh yeah, it was actually shot on film, and I think that's also another thing that it gives it its quality because I listened to her DGA podcast or interview thingy, and where she said look she was adamant that she wanted to shoot this on an actual film, not digital. And I think that also adds to that richness and that like that feeling of hey, this feels like those movies from 70s where Hollywood was daring and trying to do something new and something different, despite the fact this is like a sixth remake of this movie. There's an original movie from 2020 from France, Spain. But there was a
Yeah.
French remake, there was a Korean remake, there was a
And
Czech remake from last year. I didn't even know until I checked IMDb. I think Serbian, and I think there's like Spanish, no French. Yeah, like this is a sixth version of the same story, and
it says
apparently.
how it hits for people across cultures.
And apparently, from people who have watched the other versions or some of the other versions, this one is genuinely the best because they, despite the fact it's a remake, they actually added and ad-libbed a lot of things. Like Olivia Wilde was describing how Penelope Cruz was the one who, I think we need to listen to Sade. That scene was Penelope Cruz's idea. Edward
Apparently,
Norton,
she kissed her.
yes,
That wasn't in the script.
lucky.
And
Uh,
then yeah, and Edward Norton came up with that whole entire monologue,
I was gonna say, if you wanted me to blow your mind, for
which
people.
showstopper.
Exactly. For people who haven't seen the movie, they know what I'm talking about. The last monologue by Edward Horton, Edward Norton, not Horton. Well, his name is Hawk. That's why. Reason behind his name. That was all improvised and made up by because yeah, apparently he just shows up one day on the set. It's like, hey, I have this idea for my origin, so can we shoot a scene? Okay. And then, like, apparently, so that was the only take they did. And Olivia Wilde's reaction is kind of real. Because she didn't, even her, director of the movie, she didn't actually know what he's gonna do. But she trusted him enough. I was like, okay.
She trusted Edward Norton, which could have could have blown up her face. But
To be
you
fair,
know,
look, he can be a prick, but he is one of the
yes,
most
he is a
talented
great actor.
actors of
Yep,
of that generation. Like, he is, if he wasn't a prick, yeah. But hey,
there you
maybe
go.
he's mellowed out. But yeah, that's my recommend. The Invite is worth it. It's such a great movie. But yeah, another show in a back, Shane. So if people have enjoyed our chat, what's the best place for them to follow you?
They can follow me at the Wasteland Reviewer Instagram page where I shamelessly plug all the things that I do. We have the Wasteland Reviewer YouTube channel where I review all new movies and my weekly show, Welcome to the Wasteland. I have my wasteland.blog website where I write reviews for new wide releases and some monthly articles. And you can check out all of my podcasts here on the SPDM crew, my contributions to sifpop.com and knockonwoodfilm.com. And you could always check out my letterboxed. There you go.
Yes. And for me, as always, it's much simpler. My letterbox is in movies lost or here every other Friday. And I always forget. And Shane's podcast, Wasteland once a month, and Wasteland Retrospective, and also once a month. So you can catch me there discussing some older movies.
In the Wasteland watch list whenever the hell it gets posted.
Exactly. That's, not like we record it at the same time, but hey, I don't know when this one gets posted because that's more that's more Shane's, agenda. But yeah,
There you go.
and as Shane mentioned, we are part of the SPDM crew podcasting network, and ever so grateful. So until next time, bye bye.
Bye.